I look at longevity and long-term health a lot more importantly than helping a woman get abs for a beater. It's hard for women to change their lifestyle. And that's why so many people constantly go through this yo-yo cycle of losing and gaining weight, because they'll restrict their life massively. Women that are in their 40s plus, which is the women that I work with now, it's not really about the number on the scales now. It's about how I feel and how I see myself. And I'm fitting into clothes that I've not worn for years. But strength training, it brings another level of abilities and confidence that you do not get from Pilates and cardio. You do not get success from being in a comfort zone. You have to step outside of your comfort zone to get results that you don't have. Women are absolutely smashing the fitness industry. I think we're taking over the fitness game, and I think that is now leading to women taking over
the world. Have you ever wondered why the same workout suddenly stopped working? Why does recovery take longer? Muscle feel harder to build, and the belly fat doesn't seem to go off at all. If you ever felt that your body changed and nobody gave you the new instruction manual, then this episode is for you. Hi, I'm Gayu Lewis, a board-certified integrative nutrition, health and menopause coach and the host of the Gayu Lewis podcast. This is the space where we talk about what's happening behind our hormones, from science to mindset to everyday stories that help women thrive through midlife. And today, I'm joined by fitness trainer Kim Weston for a real, honest conversation about fitness for midlife women. We are talking hormones, metabolism, muscle, recovery, body changes, and what the new fitness roadmap for women actually looks like. And this is the good, the bad, and the ugly of fitness in midlife. Kim, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I think we are very excited to know about what are the changes that we women need to make, especially during the midlife transition. But before we get to that bit, I want to start off by asking about your fitness journey. Was this something that you always wanted to do, or did you accidentally stumble upon?
Yeah, I accidentally stumbled upon this, I suppose. I mean, I was always quite active as a child in school, always in the school sports. But I quit college to work full-time in recruitment because I'm just like, I need to get out of college. I need to start making money. And wow, I quickly realized that sitting behind a computer desk 9 till 5 in sales was just not for me. But I kept going. And in the process of all that, I was going to the gym and started filming my workout videos and posting them on social media. And social media wasn't as big then as it is now. And things escalated for me really quickly. I got a lot of inquiries from people asking me to train them, and people see my videos and saying, can you train me? And I was like, I'm not even a fitness trainer, but this is just my passion and this is what I do, and I spend time in the gym. So I just posted videos to help people. Off the back of that, the amount of inquiries that I had, I thought, why am I not doing this? Why am I not working in something that I'm so passionate about? So I did a course alongside my 9 to 5 job. It was a Saturday, Sunday course, and I got qualified, and then the rest is history, really.
Okay. And, in your journey, you've trained people in 20s to 30s to 40s, right? And
Yes.
How do you see every age group accepting fitness differently?
That's a really good question. When I first started out in the industry, I was 21. So naturally, I got a lot of women in their early 20s. As time has gone on, I have realized what I'm passionate about helping women with. And I look at longevity and long-term health a lot more importantly than helping a woman get abs for a beater, a woman in the 20s getting abs for a beater. So I've naturally changed the demographic of who I work with. And I think what I've noticed along that journey is the women that are in their 20s, they don't have to do a lot to be able to achieve a result, right? And the women that are in their 40s plus, which is the women that I work with now, it's not that they have to do anything more than the women in their 20s, but they have to be more strategic about the approach that they're following. And they're not clued up on the strategy that they've got to follow. They try to follow what they were doing in their 20s and 30s, and that now doesn't work anymore. And they're not following a plan. They're just, trying to find different things on social media that are working for women's bodies that aren't their body. And it's not about working harder when you get above the age of 40. It's just about working smarter and having a plan that works with your body now. And I think that's something that gets misinterpreted and missed out, is you don't need to work harder. You just need to follow a plan that's aligned with your body and the way that your body works now. And for every single woman, that's something different. It doesn't look the same across every client's journey that we work with. And I think that's also something really important to point out.
Yeah, but it's easier said than done, is what I would say, right? And also saying that, you said, of course, when we were 20, our hormones were helping us, and even if we did 10%, the remaining 90% was compensated by the hormones in general, right? And now it's exactly the other way around. But also the fact that women have more responsibilities, right? At 20, I just had to take care of myself, live life, and things were fine. But now you've got the whole, the family, then there's the children, then there are the aging parents, and women tend to kind of put their own health at the back foot, right? And now talking about fitness, it's always like, tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow. How do you see that happening? And with clients that come to you, I think that's already the first step that they've taken, that yes, I want to take care of myself now. But then how do you then help them get in love with fitness?
That's a great question. I think, yes, majority of the women that we work with are 40 plus and they're mums with a full-time working job. They always put themselves to the bottom of the pecking order. And it's such a shame to see, because if they realize that prioritizing themselves first is important, everything else in their life will feel easier to manage. And I think, just to answer your question of how do we get them in love with fitness, that happens really quickly. I don't have a problem with that, because we build a plan that fits with their lifestyle. So it's built to however many sessions a week that they can do, however much time they've got for that workout. Where are they going to work out from? And for a lot of our clients, that's from home, because it's a lot easier, it's more time efficient, and it's all they can manage. So we build it according to their lifestyle. And I think that's just the first step that makes this a much easier process for them, is building it around their family life, their work life. And they quickly realize that prioritizing their health and their fitness and getting into exercise, it helps them manage work better. They're more productive at work. They're more proactive. They're sleeping better. They've got more energy. They're showing up to their family, in a more positive light. And their husband realizes, or their partner realizes, gosh, you've got a spring in your step. So that happens very quickly within the first 2 weeks. So it doesn't take them much. And I say this to all of our clients, the first 4 weeks of their journey is definitely the most exciting and the most motivating, but it's also the most difficult, because you're going from having maybe little to no routine in terms of fitness to now we're implementing these new things. So that first 4 weeks is a really good indicator of sort of how I see that a client's journey is going to go. But we build it out according to their life. So although it might feel difficult at the start, they quickly realize that, gosh, this is amazing. Why did I not do this sooner? And I think that's what a lot of our clients say is, I'm so upset that I didn't start this sooner. I'm happy that I'm doing it now, but gosh, I wish I started 5, 10, 20 years ago, because it makes life easier for them.
Yeah, I completely understand. I think when I got into fitness was after my second kid was born, and then I just fell in love with it. That was something that I'm like, oh, why did I not do these so many years ago, And I totally understand. But again, but with women, and again with midlife, with the way our body starts changing, and I see a lot of women, like, especially I'm a clinical nutritionist, right? So I see a lot of women who come to me saying that I want to lose weight, but everyone wants the easy way out also, right? Or in terms of not really wanting to do so much effort and still get the benefit of looking thinner and, just by controlling their diet or whatever. I see that side of the fitness. But, with the workout that you said, where you tailor make the plan for your client, for you, what's important in terms of how many days do you wish that they commit? And, if they only commit one day, how long does it take for them to see the benefit? How do you do that bit?
So I think the most important thing is I'm the exact same as you. Women come to me, say, I want to lose weight, and they don't have much time on their hands. The biggest part of weight loss is nutrition, right? It's nutrition and daily habits. So how much they do in terms of exercise isn't at the forefront of what we do. So if a client comes to me and says, I can only do 2 workouts a week, that's exactly where I'm going to start them, because I want this process to feel easy for them. Now, that's not where I would have them at the end, but we do a 6-month transformation program, and every 4 weeks looks different. So we start them at their starting point and what's easy for them in the first 4 weeks. As that builds up, so do their workouts. As we go through every 4-week phase, their workouts start to build up, but they've also experienced more of a love and a passion for it, and they naturally want to do more because of how it makes them feel. I advise any women to start with 3 sessions.
Okay.
3 sessions a week, whether that's weight training, a specific cardio element that they like, whether they like to do running or swimming, whether that's a class. Not that I would advise those things massively, but I start them with what's easy and enjoyable for them. And that changes every 4 weeks. But yeah, the another question you asked me was, when do they start to see changes? In the first 4 weeks, they're going to feel a lot more changes than what they're going to see in the mirror. Majority of our clients lose between 10 to 12 kilos in that 6-month time period. But that transformation picture that they see is sort of 3 months in, 6 months in. The first 4 weeks, they're feeling changes in their energy levels. Their sleep's got better. The hunger, the cravings have disappeared. The binging has stopped. They're feeling better overall. They're more productive at work. They've got more time for their family. Like, all of those things change in the first 4 weeks. After the first 4 weeks is when they start to see real changes in the transformation pictures. And typically all of our clients do lose between 2 to 4 kilos in the first 4 weeks. So they still see a number down on the scales, but the feeling of that transformation is a lot bigger than what they'll see in the mirror.
But you said, everyone kind of associates with a number.
Yes.
But I always say the number on the scale is hardly something for you to consider. Of course, if you're super overweight, that's a different ballgame altogether. But otherwise, the number on the scale is not something that you should work towards, but rather more on body composition, right? And I think because nowadays you can buy skinny, but you can't buy the muscles. What's your take on that?
So my take on that is, it depends what someone wants to lose, right? So if someone wants to lose 12 kilos, which is 2 stone, they should see a lot of that weight loss down in the first few months. As they get closer towards their goal, it then becomes harder for them to see the number going down on the scales because of the body composition changing. And it is naturally, it is easy to lose the first few kilos of weight, right? Because a lot of it's water retention, inflammation. But as you start to get closer, the body composition is changing, muscle mass is going up, body fat's coming down. But I think a big thing that the women on our program notice is they do come with an initial weight loss goal, right? That is their goal. They want to lose weight. They want to get to this number on the scales. But a few months into their program, I would say probably halfway through, nearly all of the women say to me, I don't really care what that number is anymore, because I feel so amazing and I'm fitting into clothes that I've not worn for years. It's not really about the number on the scales now. It's about how I feel and how I see myself. And yes, that does come with a few more kilos of weight. but they're not looking at it from that perspective anymore. The weight loss is a byproduct to the changes that we're making in their lifestyle and the habits that we're building, and how they're transitioning from being the person they were before to the person they are now. We look at things for longevity, sustainability, and we're looking at the rest of their life. So the weight loss will come as a byproduct to that once you start changing your habits and your mindset. That's a huge one. A lot of women really struggle with the mindset changes. So once we change those, that's when it becomes less about the number on the scale.
I know the mindset's always the difficult one, right? I think once you're able to say, yes, I've made up my mind, this is the goal that I want to achieve, and I think then it's there. But until the time, there's so much more noise around, from everywhere, all the temptations that happen, and then suddenly when you are on a path towards fitness and you've got all the other people who are not there trying to drag you down.
Oh, yes, massively. I see this all the time. It was such a shame. We recently had a woman who, she had a lot of weight to lose. And within the first 2 weeks, her partner was saying, oh, this is too difficult. You can't do this, even though we give her super, super easy meals, 5 minutes to make. And her partner was already telling her, you shouldn't be doing this. And she quit the program. And it was so, so sad for me to see, because I know the potential of this woman and I wanted it for her so bad. With everything we spoke about how she wants a different life. And unfortunately, her partner brought her down. But I do think the way you think about things and your mindset is one of the hardest things to train. It's not doing a workout. It's not cooking a certain meal. It's changing how you think about things for longevity. Because I say this to everyone, like, it's not hard to lose weight. It's easy to lose weight. You slash your calories, you do loads of cardio, and the weight will come off. It's easy. It's hard for women to change their lifestyle. And that's why so many people constantly go through this yo-yo cycle of losing and gaining weight, because they'll restrict their life massively to achieve a weight loss goal. They'll get there, they'll realize that isn't sustainable long term, they'll give up and they'll go back to square one and gain all the weight back. And that's why what we do is very much a lifestyle change. We base everything on a lifestyle approach. We make sure that the women on our program are eating chocolate, they are socializing, they are having a drink if they drink alcohol. They're doing these things incorporated in their plan. Yes, not every single weekend and not all the time, but we make sure that they get there in a way that they feel they can be sustainable with this approach long term. Because if you can get to your weight loss goal in a way that you feel is enjoyable, you're not on a diet. I hate the word diet. We don't incorporate diets in our plan. If you feel that you can enjoy the process, you'll keep it up forever. That's the goal, right? The goal is not just to lose weight. It's to lose weight in a way where you now feel your lifestyle is different. And I think that's a big thing that women miss out on their weight loss journey when they don't do it with the help of a coach. They don't know what to do, so they cut the calories massively, they do loads of cardio, and they're not just losing weight, they're losing muscle.
And they're losing their mind.
They're losing their mind, for sure. That is a big one. They are losing their mind, and they'll keep going through those cycles until they realize this is not healthy. This is not what I want for the rest of my life. This is not what I want for my kids. I don't want to show them this approach. I want to do things in a healthy way. And that's when they finally reach out and come on board a program that supports their lifestyle.
And the other frustration I always, hear is that, I have been working out for so many years, but, now suddenly things are not working, right? There's that tweak, the way we work out, the way we change has to happen. How do you address that?
So I think a lot of women come to me initially saying that they work out a lot, but a lot of this exercise is cardio, right? Where it's spiking your cortisol levels. So we completely changed their training and we base it all around strength training. Now, some women do come to me already doing strength training, but the problem that they've got is they're not pushing themselves in those strength training sessions anymore. They're sitting in their comfort zone. They're doing the same things, same exercises, same reps, same weight over and over again. Or they're doing a combination of the both where they're telling me they go to classes, but these classes are strength-based. Well, the problem with that is these classes change every single week. So if you're not doing the same exercises for a duration, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, how are you supposed to get stronger? Yes, these classes like CrossFit, for example, incorporate weight training, but you're not doing the same things week on week. So you're never really pushing to your full potential. So there's a misconception with that as well. Like for women 40 plus, they need to be strength training. They need to be following a program that uses progressive overload, where either their reps or their weights or the amount of sets they're doing is increasing week on week to help them build muscle mass. Weight training is great, yeah, but if you're not using progressive overloads to progress, there's only so much muscle mass you're going to build. You're sitting in your comfort zone doing the same thing. How do you expect your body to be building muscle? It's just sitting stagnant, right?
Yeah.
You're showing up, but you're not showing up with intention. You're just going through the motions and everything is staying in the same place.
Yeah. So would you recommend, increasing weight, like you said, picking up more heavier weight as you go, or does the smaller weight, more reps also help?
This is a great question. I would always recommend to my clients to increase their weight rather than increasing their reps. And again, this differs exercise to exercise, right? But generally 80% of your program should be based on increasing the weights. Now, that's not going to be possible every single week. You can't lift heavier weights every single week. That's someone that would be superhuman, right? So the way we do it with all of our clients inside of our program is each week something will go up. So maybe 1 week we'll increase their weights. Maybe 1 week we'll increase their reps. But I always say to the clients, there's going to be some days, even weeks, where you just don't feel strong. Maybe you've had a bad night's sleep, right? Maybe something's happened at work that's took your stress. Your stress is through the roof and you just don't feel like you can increase your weights that week. If you are having one of those weeks, because we're human, those weeks happen, increase your reps instead. Keep the same weight and increase your reps. But every single week, something should be going up, because that's how you get stronger and how you get fitter and how you build muscle mass. The more muscle mass you have, the more calories your body burns when you're resting. Your metabolism's getting better. That's exactly what we want to be doing. So it really depends on session to session, client to client, but the majority, I would say, increasing the weight.
Okay. Another question it just came in my mind. I always advise women to train based on their cycle, menstrual cycle. Is that something that you incorporate as well? And do you see a change when women start understanding how the cycle works and how the body composition is kind of changing with that cycle?
This is not something that we heavily focus on inside of our program. But the reason I say that is because some of the women that come to me have really bad cycles, right? Really heavy periods. They don't feel great at all, but they weren't in a health routine before. And when we change that and we're providing their body with more nutrients, more whole foods, they're sleeping better, their energy levels are better, they're building their strength, naturally, their cycles and their periods, they get better. They don't experience the same symptoms that they were before, or those symptoms have massively reduced and suppressed. So they can actually tackle their cycle a lot easier than they could before they joined the program. With me saying that, yes, coming to the time of your cycle, naturally you're not going to be as strong, right? You're not going to want to put the same effort levels in. You're probably going to want chocolate a little bit more than usual. So If a client mentions that on the week, then yes, we would give them indications as to whether they might need to sit at calorie maintenance for a couple of days because they've got a lot of cravings, right? And if we need to reduce their strength and focus on more high reps. But again, majority of women, their cycles get better and they can stick to the plan most of the time.
Okay. And what's your take on Pilates and yoga and all the other fancy workouts? I don't say if yoga is fancy, but I'm just saying in general.
This is a big craze now. Like everyone wants to do Pilates, reformer Pilates, yoga. Look, I think it's great from a mobility and flexibility aspect. I think every single woman should do this at least once a week to improve their mobility if they're not stretching and not doing proper recovery, especially women 40 plus for their mobility. But a lot of women do these sessions and only these sessions and think this is them working out. This is them working out to improve their, like I say, mobility, flexibility, their core strength. But it doesn't burn many calories. It doesn't build strength. So when a client comes to me and says, this is what I already do, I would say, yeah, great. Keep it in one session a week, but I'm still going to give you X amount of strength sessions on top of that. And that should be your priority. If you can get in a Pilates once a week on top, great, do it. But focus on strength. If you want to lose X amount of weight, we need to go through a transition here where we reduce this weight and get you to your goal. If that includes Pilates, great. If not, focus on that at the end of the program. Once we've got you to where you're at, get back to doing that, because the best thing for any woman of any age is strength training, right? So if you've got a goal to lose a certain weight, Pilates isn't necessarily going to help you get there. And I think that's what a lot of women think. Oh, I'll go to Pilates because it's what I enjoy. Unfortunately, that's not the answer.
Yeah. I mean, you can enjoy the socializing, but I don't think that I do reformer myself once in a while because I otherwise I'm not a very flexible person. And I know that it's quite painful. It's not easy. I'd rather lift the weight than go through that where my legs are literally shivering. They're shaking. But there are women who swear by it and they're like, oh, this is something I love doing. And I'm like, yeah, maybe start lifting weight. You'll start loving that as well.
Yeah, because having strength is so important. And again, even women in their 40s, they don't think about this, but we work with women up to 70 years old. And when you get into your 60s and beyond, having strength and having muscle is so important just to be able to live life easier. Recently I had a woman who I had a call with the other day who's on our program, and she's 60 years old, and she was saying that prior to joining the program 3 months before, she was clearing out her mum's house who's passed away, and she was trying to lift these heavy books to throw them away. She couldn't lift them. 3 months later, she's gone back to her mum's house. She lifted every single one of the books from doing home workouts, can I say, because she's built strength. Her life got easier. I had another lady who was 70 years old, and she was telling me at the end of the 6-month program how much easier she can just live life now. She can get up the stairs easier. She can lift her shopping easier. She has a restaurant in Malaysia where she lives, and she was just saying, she can lift up the food shopping and take it into the restaurant so much easier now because she's got muscle. And I think so many women don't realize the benefits strength training has in later life. They don't prioritize it because they're not there yet. But it's going to become important at some point in your life. And you're going to get 10 times more out of strength training than you are Pilates when you're in your 60s and 70s and 80s and beyond, Yeah. And that's why I'm so passionate about strength training, because I see my family. They don't strength train. And the problems that they have now is why it's embedded in me so much, Strength train, because it's going to help you live longer. Who doesn't want to live a healthier life for longer, right?
Yeah.
Pilates is great. Doing cardio is great for your cardiovascular health. But strength training, it brings another level of abilities and confidence that you do not get from Pilates and cardio.
Yeah, and the endorphins.
Yeah, gosh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I had a woman on a call the other day. Gosh, so many women that I'm having on these calls, but one of them, she's 43 years old. She's a mum of 2. And she said to me, Kim, I've been this weight before. She's lost 8 kilos in the past 14 weeks. She said, Kim, I've been this weight before, but I have never been this weight and felt the way that I do today. The way that I feel, I'm so confident and happy in my body. And it comes down to the strength training that you've taught me, because I never did this before. I used to go to spin classes, and that's how I lost the weight. But I've now done it doing strength training, and I've never had this level of confidence. I feel the happiest I've ever felt. And to me, gosh, I welled up. I cried. Like, to hear a woman say that, I could cry now. To hear a woman say that her life is changing and she's so much more confident at 43 years old. She's more confident than she was in her 20s and 30s. Comes down to strength training. Yeah. Ladies, listen. Yeah. If you're not in strength training right now, you got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely agree. But you spoke about, I've seen a lot of women who suddenly get into fitness. They find gyms very intimidating.
Yes.
When you go there, you have these, of course, the gym bros who like bulked up guys. They're trying to work out, and then of course you've got the women now in the gym, and everyone's got their phone and they're recording. You somewhere feel intimidated, right? How do you help women get used to the gym, find a corner for yourself, or how do you get them being more confident in themselves and in whatever they're doing?
Yeah, so a lot of the women that come to us initially start working out from home just to lose a little bit of weight, to feel confident within themselves a little bit more before they step into a gym environment, right? Working out at home is a great way to start because you get comfortable with using dumbbells or a barbell or kettlebells from home. With the women that start straight in the gym, I give them the most basic exercises, like you just said. I gave them a set of dumbbells or a barbell that they can take to a corner of the gym and just get comfortable being in a gym environment, because you've got a very valid point there. I think a lot of women do have gym memberships, but all they're comfortable to do is go on the treadmill because it's what they know, right? You do not get success from being in a comfort zone. You have to step outside of your comfort zone to get results that you don't have. And yes, that can feel intimidating, but starting with a program that's very basic pieces of equipment that you can take to a corner of the gym is a great way to start. But I also do say to a lot of the women, whatever gym you go to, there'll be personal trainers that work for the gym. And part of their job, because I used to do it, is providing an induction where you take that person around the gym and show them the basic piece of equipment. So even when a woman starts with us on a program, I ask them to book an induction in the gym to just get one of the coaches or a member of staff to just show them around the gym in terms of the basic equipment. And I give them the program beforehand so that they can show the coach and say, right, this is what I'm doing. Please, can you just show me how to use these exercises? But another really important thing, I think, is when we give a client a program, we give them that same program for 4 weeks. So whatever they're doing in week 1, yes, it can feel a little bit daunting at first, but when they step into the gym in week 2, they already know what they're doing. They're going back and using the same machines or the same piece of equipment that they did last week. Yeah. Now, as I just said, we use progressive overload. We just go a little bit harder. So they get comfortable very quickly because they know that they're repeating those same exercises. So if you're going to be doing workouts in the gym, find exercises and do those same exercises for a few weeks, but just push yourself within those. Yeah. It can feel daunting in the first week, but everyone has a week 1. Everyone feels that way the first week. Yeah. And I think we naturally, as humans, we overthink things, right? And we overthink how scary it is. And then you do it and you're like, this really isn't what I made it out to be.
Yeah. True. Absolutely. But when you say at home, what would you suggest as the basic piece of equipment to be there at home?
So with all of our clients that work out from home, all we recommend to get is what we call a dumbbell barbell set, right? And you can buy it in any country because we have clients worldwide. And you can buy it on Amazon, right? It's a barbell that breaks into 2 dumbbells. So you can use the barbell or you can use the dumbbells one at one time. That is sufficient. That is literally, that one piece of equipment is all we use on our clients' programs from home. And some clients stay the whole 6 months at home using that equipment. There's enough that you can do with that. Now, obviously, the more equipment you can get from home, if it's feasible, the more access to things that you've got, right? But if it's not feasible, that's all you really need. Is this one piece of equipment. Is super cheap on Amazon, and there's so much you can do with it. But I do advise clients in around 2 to 3 months to get into a gym environment, even if it's just for one session a week, you know, like let's say we have 3 or 4 sessions on their program, do 1 from the gym, do 2 or 3 from home. And then the more you get comfortable being in that gym environment, the more you're going to realize, I want to do more in the gym because I can do more. I can push myself. I can lift heavier weights. I've got access to more. And working out from home, it can get boring after a while, you know. So I think when the client's ready, that's when we start to transition them more into a gym environment.
Okay. And how long do you think these workout sessions should be?
So when you're in the gym, typically between 45 to 60 minutes, because you're moving from equipment to equipment. You have to set things up. You have to re-rack things from what people have left. From home, our clients do a session in 30 to 45 minutes because you've got one area of space, one piece of equipment. You don't need as much time. And this is where a lot of people think, oh, I need bundles of time to exercise. No, you don't. I had one client that was doing 20-minute sessions before work 4 to 5 times a week because that's all she had time for. You know, when a client comes on board with us, it's about what works for you, right? Because every client's journey is different. Some women have more time than others. You don't need bundles of time. A weight loss journey comes down to nutrition and daily habits. Exercise is just an added extra to get you there quicker. Yes, it helps with your mental health. It helps you build strength. It helps you get fitter. But if your goal is weight loss, it's not absolutely necessary, you know, to get to a certain goal. So 20 minutes is sufficient.
Yeah, I mean, true. If it's effective, it's just about making it effective. But talking about recovery, right? As we grow older, the recovery also starts getting more difficult, especially for someone who's starting fitness new. You know, you got the whole lactic acid buildup that happens in the first few days, and then you're like just not able to move. Any recovery techniques that you suggest people do? Any cold baths or cryo or anything, if it's nothing that fancy also?
Yeah, so again, I think depending on where the client lives in the world, some gyms come with all the recovery aspects. Yes, absolutely, I would say do that. Some don't, and they have to pay for these. So it's like an added extra. So honestly, we're very basic and simple with the routines that we give our clients. So I provide a warm-up routine, we provide a cool-down routine and stretches. But we give enough days rest in between workout days for their body to recover anyway. I mean, look, typically if a client comes to us that's not been working out for a long time, the first 2 weeks, they're gonna feel pain. It's natural. It can't be helped, unfortunately. Guys, you're gonna feel pain in the first couple of weeks, right? After the first 2 weeks, the body starts to become very used to it. That pain massively suppresses and things just start to feel easier and you don't really get the same level of pain anymore. But I do also always say, be active, make sure you're on your feet, make sure you're doing your steps and walking, make sure you're doing stretches, warm up, cool down. And another thing is taking creatine. Creatine supports recovery and it will help with the muscle soreness. So that is something, if clients can afford to buy creatine, that's something that I would always tell them to implement.
Okay. And with creatine, do you suggest, are you one of those people who say take any time of the day, or are you someone who says pre-workout, post-workout? What's your take on creatine?
So you can have it any time of the day, but I would say post-workout. I also recommend my clients to get non-monohydrate creatine. All coaches are different. in what they recommend, but non-monohydrate is better for not holding as much water retention because the other creatines can make you hold a little bit more water. So I just go with non-monohydrate. And I do also say to my clients, get a flavored creatine, because a lot of people struggle to get enough water into their day because it's boring. And I get it. I don't like drinking water half the time, but I know I have to and I do it. But I make sure that as much of my water can be flavored as possible.
Yeah.
So I have a, I can't remember what flavor it is now, but I have fruit punch. I have a fruit punch flavored creatine, and it just makes water more enjoyable to get in. You know, it's like a juice drink. So yeah, I would always say get that.
Okay. Talking about you, what does your daily routine look like?
So right now I've been on a journey to get as lean as possible. So right now my journey has been quite restricted, but that's not typically my journey. You know, this has only been for the past 6 to 8 weeks, but typically I would do 4, maybe 5 strength sessions a week, depending if I've got the time to do that. I try to always get my 10,000 steps in a day. And I do add cardio to the end of my workouts. Now, there was a time a few months ago that I was preparing for a half marathon. So I was doing a lot of running. Running massively inflames my body. And I quickly realized this when I was preparing for my half marathon. And it's not just me. Obviously, every woman's body works in a different way. But there's been a lot of clients that I've had that have been preparing for a half marathon. And the minute they've stopped preparing for that and we removed the running in their program, they've been able to drop weight, because it does just inflame some people's bodies. So my cardio would be getting on the bike or getting on the Stairmaster at the end of a session.
That's the beast.
It is, it is. And a lot of people struggle with the Stairmaster. It is hard, but the more you do it, the fitter you'll get and the better it will work in the long term. So I always add a bit of cardio to the end of my day. And yeah, I mean, like naturally my nutrition, I eat well 80% of the time. I have 20% of my life that I go out socializing, because that's what life's all about, right? Every single client that comes on board with us, we say have 20% of your life where you're going out socializing and you're enjoying food and drink, because that's what's going to keep you on track long term.
Yeah.
And I like to do that. That's what I implement with my clients. It's all about balance. So yeah, I work hard, but I play harder.
Fantastic. Any supplements that you take that helps you in general?
Supplements. I take creatine every day. I do take cod liver oil to help with my joints. I take I take biotin, I take collagen. But with the clients that come on board our program, I do not recommend any other supplement apart from creatine to start. When they come on board, we look at how they're performing, how their energy levels are, what their results are, what they might be lacking in, you know, how's their sleep, how's their energy levels, their stress, their recovery. Based on that information, that's when we then might recommend a supplement. It's very rare because once we get them in a solid routine, it's likely they don't need anything. Yeah. I think people try to overtake supplements that aren't always necessary. You know, it's sad to say it, but I say they're a money-making scheme. You don't need a lot of supplements a lot of the time. Just get into a health routine, things will get better.
Yeah, true. Talking about fitness, where do you think women's fitness is headed in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, wow. I think women are taking over the game, to be honest with you. I think, 30, 40 years ago, it wasn't common to see women in a gym working out, prioritizing themselves. Now, I think women are absolutely smashing the fitness industry. And I think, there's so much more information online to help women with what they're struggling with, because yes, it's more difficult for us than it is for men. And I think I'm so glad that social media has come around and it's shown how important weight training and protein is. And I'm so glad that people are now starting to be more aware of this. And I think what women used to follow 20, 30 years ago, which was a lot of cardio, that's changing. Women are becoming stronger. They're becoming more independent. They're becoming more confident. Like, we are becoming more powerful in the game. And we're becoming more powerful in terms of careers. And I think a lot of that comes down to when you prioritize yourself in terms of your health and fitness, you feel more confident to now go for that promotion or go for that opportunity that you didn't think was possible before. And I always say to everyone, becoming the best version of yourself starts from your health. When you realize that your health is number one priority and you start to become more confident, you're prioritizing your health, you do start to go for opportunities that you never thought were possible before. And I think, to answer your question, I think we're taking over the fitness game. And I think that is now leading to women taking over
the world.
We
are unstoppable now.
Yeah, I do. I massively believe it. There's a film that recently came out called Ladies First.
I saw.
Oh, that was like, yeah, we're game changers now. Watch this space, man, because we're taking over.
True, absolutely. But you spoke about social media. Do you think, there's so much noise on social media, and it sometimes also confuses women in terms of, should I do this? Should I do this? And then you have the very young, trainers also giving their own piece of advice to a midlife women who've not really seen what women go through at that. What do you think of that?
Yes, I think because social media came around at the time it did, obviously a lot of people on there are young influencers. And yes, a lot of these influencers are posting what works for them. And it makes other women think that because it's possible for them, because it's possible for the coach, it's possible for them in their 40s. And there's a lot of misconceptions on social media. Another problem we've got with social media is controversial content gets views. Yeah. And that's a problem because you start to think that what people are saying is what's true, and it's not. And this is why what we do when a client comes on board with us is we simplify everything. We make our clients forget everything that they've read or seen online, and we simplify the process. That's why we don't recommend supplements. We don't recommend, certain aspects that they might have seen online until we know how their body responds and works to things. Yeah. Because every person's body works in a different way.
Absolutely.
So how can you say, oh, well, you need this if you don't even know if that's what they need right now?
Yeah.
So this is where, you're watching things online, you're thinking that's what's important for you, but it's not, because your body works in a different way. Like, hire someone who can take you in the direction that you need to go. Stop, if it's feasible for you, stop trying to figure it out on your own, because it's going to take you so much longer to get to your journey by trying this, and then you feel that doesn't work, so you go to the next thing. You try it for a couple of weeks, that doesn't work, so you find the next thing, and it's like, your body's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like, why do you keep changing your approach? Just choose one and stick with it long enough, and maybe you'll start to see some results. And that's what hiring a coach can do for you. It keeps you aligned. It keeps you focused on what's important for your journey.
Yeah. Let's keep the spice up in general. Going on to our rapid fire segment. It's called the Hot Seat Cold Truths. Okay?
Wow.
Burpees, keep or cancel?
Cancel.
Oh, it's one of my favorite exercises.
It's my favorite exercise. I do them for fun every single week. Sometimes I'll do an hour of burpees for fun, right? But it depends on the age of the client, right? 40 plus, we take them out.
Okay. Women after 40, eating too much or too little?
What do you mean? Are they eating too much now? Or
are they eating too much food, or are they eating too little food?
Most of them too little.
Yeah. Fitness influencers, helping or confusing women?
Ooh, both. Because I'm a fitness influencer. I'm helping, but a lot of them are confusing.
Morning workout or sleep in?
Morning workout. 100%. It sets you up for the day. You're so much more proactive.
Okay. Motivation fades. True or excuse?
True. Motivation fades. You're not motivated 24/7. It's about discipline. It's not about motivation. I'm not motivated all the time. There's half the time I get to the gym and can't be bothered to do my workout. It's discipline that keeps you going.
Well done. Ozempic era, game changer or dangerous shortcut?
Dangerous shortcut. Oh my gosh, ladies. I don't... we could go on to a lot about that, but I'll keep it short.
Cheat meals, harmless or harmful?
Harmless. A cheat meal is harmless. People think that that's going to completely throw you off. One meal is not going to undo a whole week's worth of progress.
Okay. 10,000 steps, enough or not enough?
Enough. Sufficient, yeah. Solid.
Pilates, weights or walking?
Weights. Come on, girls.
Fitness trackers, motivating or anxiety inducing?
I think for the majority, it's motivating. I do believe that. If you're someone that, has ADHD, suffers with anxiety, I don't think they're great.
Oh, I like your answers. Moving on to our last segment of our podcast. It's called the 1%. 99% of the podcast is about women wellness, but men are a part of our lives too. So we've dedicated this 1% to them. So what is your 1% advice to the men in our lives? What can men do better to support women?
Men can support their women by being on board with them having to prioritize themselves. I think mums do majority of the work for the kids, and that leads to them not taking time out for their health and fitness. And I think what men can do better is give their woman some space and some time to be able to go and work out and put themselves first for once, and encourage them to do it. If the woman isn't, bringing that up much in the relationship, encourage your partner to do that. Not from a perspective of, oh, you need to lose weight, from a perspective of, this is going to reduce your stress levels. It's going to help you mentally. Go and take some time to do something by yourself and give them that space. Yeah.
Well said. Men listening, please give us the space that we need. Kim, any parting advice for the women, especially someone who's stepping into the world of fitness?
If you're stepping into the world of fitness, don't overcomplicate it. Go back to the basics. Do what's important. If you want to lose weight, which majority of people do nowadays, just get into doing exercise 3 times a week, whatever that looks like right now. Yes, I recommend strength training, but just do what makes you feel comfortable to start with, right? Calorie deficit is what's important. Yes, protein is important. Yes, fiber, fats, carbohydrates, all these. But to start with, the most important is a calorie deficit. So if that includes a bag of crisps or a chocolate bar, so be it. Just keep within your deficit. 10,000 steps is great, but if you can't start there, don't. Focus on the things that you can do consistently. And as time goes on, you'll realize you want to implement more into that routine. But stop trying to do everything all at once. That's what's keeping you stuck. That's what's keeping you in this vicious yo-yo cycle. You're trying to go all in straight away. And of course, it's not sustainable. You're going from 0 to 100. Give it 20%. That's all you need to start.
Well said. And finally, where can our listeners connect with you?
My biggest platform is on Instagram at Kim Weston Fit. My website is The New You Movement. That's the name of the company. The New You, it's all about stepping into a new you and becoming a new version of yourself. But in order to contact me, either Instagram or the website, your choice, guys. Have a look and see where you can find me best.
Thanks a lot, Kim. You've actually answered a lot of questions and probably cleared a lot of confusion that women have, especially, like I said, when they're trying to understand health and fitness. So thank you so much for joining me on this podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Absolutely. This was a wrap for today. Hopefully this conversation made you take the first step to actually picking up a weight. If you need any more further information, please do drop us a question. Kim and I are happy to answer all the questions. I'm Gayu Lewis, and until next time, menopause, why pause? Let's play.